Hello and welcome to the finale of our coverage of Canberra Survivor 3 versus the world. It is a night of nights. In half an hour or so, we will start the debate, and in just under an hour, a new orca will be determined and revealed to join the Congress of the Orcas. More to be explained on that later. 50 minutes away from finding out who is the true champion of this season. It doesn't matter who won. It doesn't matter who won MVP on some other award. What matters is who is the Orca, the very exclusive club and who gets to join that very exclusive club. Before that, though, we will be catching up with Dan and Liv. They're waiting in the room, ready to have a chat. I can't wait. For those who cannot get enough of their LRG coverage, right after this, back to back, as we finish up Canberra, sad face, we can turn to happy face because Backyard season five is starting, and we will be doing our live draft immediately after this coverage. So stick around. There'll be a new show, so don't stick around here because this will end. Find the second show, jump on. But that's after we've done the catch up and after we've done the coverage. So I'm very excited once again to have Dan and Liv with me. It's been a long time since I spoke to them last. It was when we covered Backyard 1 all the way back in the rank down last year sometime. And I'm very excited to have them both on what is an incredible season. I'm sure they're very proud. And without further ado, let me welcome to the stage Dan. Welcome.
Hey.
Sorry, I didn't tell you about the dress code. That's my bad.
Oh, no. I feel very underdressed now. Wow. Okay.
This is like for the second half of the show. So, I've had to I couldn't just magic myself into a different outfit. And, of course, your co-host always with you, Liv. Welcome. Liv.
Hello. I also feel very underdressed. Oh, my God.
I understand my fellow orcas will be coming dressed up for the awarding of the orca. That's the special occasion. Not that you aren't special, but I didn't feel the need to tell you to dress up. Thank you for joining me. What a season! What an incredible season! Let me talk about what was great about it. One of the things that was great is the cast. When you were doing the casting, did you anticipate this cast would deliver on such an excellent level?
I mean, personally, I did. I think when we cast the season, just speaking for myself, I had a really good feeling about the cast. I think we had a good mix of players and personalities and just a diverse group that would, play hard and embrace the whole experience. So, yeah, I had a really good feeling about the cast going into it, to be honest.
I agree. I think that's why we, picked the cast that we did, really. That's what you hope for. And yeah, I think this season really delivered, didn't it?
Well, with hope, yes, you always hope for it. And I think hope is the best word because sometimes you cast someone based on a short interview or a half an hour interview and application, and they don't always deliver what you expected them to deliver when you bring them out in the show. They might get a bit more nervous. They might find themselves playing a different game than they expected to play. They might be in a different headspace to when they applied. So you can never know. What I think was incredible about this season was I think it has to, and this without any shade on any other season, but an incredible collection of female players. Every single one of these women that were on the season were here to play and here to play hard. They weren't happy to be someone's follower. And that told such a fantastic story. But what you guys did so well, and I don't know, Liv, if you get involved in helping Dan with the edit. We've talked about this.
Absolutely not. It's all Dan.
What an incredible effort by you, Dan. Easily the best storytelling in the edit of any of the 12 LRGs we've covered. I don't think anyone would dispute that. I imagine you put a lot of time and love and hours into making this season. Did you start with the idea that you really wanted to up your game when it came to storytelling? Not that you did a bad job previously, but that you wanted to do even better.
Yeah, I think it definitely goes hand in hand with the production that we had on the weekend. We had, I think, a high quality crew, just more in the fact that they weren't a different crew, but they were just a more experienced crew. So the actual content that they were able to deliver to me, I think, was of a higher quality. And I think all the confessional interviewers were sort of able to get that content out of the players, which was amazing, and it made my job a lot easier. I think I'm not a good technical editor or anything like that. I'm not a trained editor, but I do think my strength does lie in storytelling, and it's the actual part of the editing that I like the most. So yeah, I think I've definitely gotten better at it for sure. It's something that I've always focused on, but also the content that I'm getting from the weekend, I think, was a lot better too.
Yeah, I think it's you know, like, fortunately or unfortunately, just as the seasons have gone on, like, productions just, you know, got a little bit better. Like Dan said, like, we're just sort of understanding, oh, okay, we need to do it that way this time so that, you know, Dan gets the right kind of footage, or we need to time these things better. Yeah. So I think it's, you just learn as you go, and hence why each season has kind of seemed, yeah, like it's getting better and better. But like you said, CK, like, it's nothing against, I think the other casts of both the other seasons, you know, were absolutely fantastic. I think we probably, production, yeah, just kind of stepped up a little bit. And yeah.
I think
it's also learning from the mistakes of the previous seasons as well,
Yeah.
because it's, you know, I wasn't getting much content out of this player, so maybe the questions could have been, you know, redirected to, you know, to something different, and would have gotten more content out of them. And that's something that we've learned from the 2 seasons that we had done before that. And I think the questions and what we were getting out of the players was a lot better for sure.
Just a couple of comments. Eden says that you look beautiful, Liv.
Thank
not
you.
Dan,
I'm my head on today.
Whoa, Eden.
Dan's jaw looks very chiseled. I'd have to give him that. It's a very chiseled jaw in this angle, or the way he's looking good.
I don't know what's going on with the angle. I apologize. Anyway,
looks good. Looks chiseled. Just
highlighting the chiseled jaw. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Why am I fancy? You missed it. You'll find out later. The storytelling, as I said, every season, yeah, what everyone does after they make a season is try to make the next season better. And you can make it better. Some people go for the big production, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think you really did try it with the story, which is where you went. And what I think you did particularly well, that I don't think any season's ever been able to come close to, is I felt that for 15 of these players, I knew them. I knew what they were about. I knew what they were about as players. I knew what they wanted to get out of the game. I knew the sort of game they wanted to play and whether they achieved that or didn't achieve that. If they're on a personal journey, what that was about for them. The only person I didn't get that from was Jay, and that's really just due to the circumstances of going out first and then in basically a random vote that wasn't really anything to do with him, and then losing the first challenge. No fault to him or the production, but to turn 15 people's stories into, I felt like, characters and people I knew through the screen and what their journey was about was incredibly well done.
I completely agree with that. Sorry, Dan, I'm just going to jump in here because I don't have anything to do with the actual editing. Even for me, like, I've met these people, and like, watching the season back, I felt like I really got to know them on another kind of level. And even though I was there on the day, you know, or the days, I didn't know what was going on. I mean, we always say this, that like Dan and I just have no idea what's going on during the whole weekend. And then Dan watches all that footage back, but I'm just like, oh, in the background, like waiting for the season to air and to actually find out what went on. And I feel exactly the same. I really, the storytelling and the getting to know the characters and what they're all about. It was really, really well done.
Once again, what was really well done, your interactions, and it seemed like Dan spent most of the season trying to make you laugh at his sexual innuendos. Is that something that you deliberately started on this season, or have I just not noticed it on the prior ones?
Maybe that's just because I do with the men on previous season.
But I also think there was conversations leading up to the season where it was like some alumni was talking about we needed to up our game with our innuendos. And I sort of took it as a personal challenge, I think, and was like, you know what, then I'll just put as many innuendos in as I can. So
We
it's
also
actually
started. Oh, sorry, CK.
no, you live, you speak.
I was just going to say, we also started the season, you know, trying to make it a bit more like lighthearted, and sort of trying to up the kind of, not lighthearted, but you know, make it, I guess, a bit more fun. We were kind of went a bit dark in season 2, and we made that a bit of a theme. So, and we know that I think people like seeing Dan and I interact. So it's a lot of fun for us when we do that, because obviously that's just our relationship anyway, honestly. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I think that did come out in this season.
Do you drop as many sexual innuendos as generally in life, Dan? On the chat, your friends in the chat last week when we were discussing seem to think that it's not you, it's a character you're putting on for the television. You don't drop as many in real life.
It probably depends on how many drinks that I've had. I don't think I had any drinks on the weekend. Maybe Liv can confirm or deny. Maybe it just depends on how many drinks I've been having. I don't know.
I think Soph gave us those big drink bottles, so maybe they were full of something. I don't know.
Maybe it was vodka. Yeah, maybe it was vodka.
Other great characters besides yourself on the season. How much and for how long had you been trying to get Andrew to appear on Canberra? You know, I recall you telling me that he was somewhat the inspiration for creating Canberra after you saw him on Exile. I know he's crewed on the previous seasons. Was this just the time? Had you been trying to get Andrew to play on your show? What was the background of getting such a star to play for a second time?
Oh, this is really digging into the memory bank here, CK.
Yeah.
There was definitely little conversations here and there, and you know, he had always said like, oh, you know, I've had my time, like, you know, it's time for other players to have their shot, and I'm okay. I thought, you know, it was a personal thing, but it was also, I knew like he would deliver, like confessional wise, game wise, you know, or across the board really. But it was also important for me for this game that Liv and I created, someone so close to me and to Liv as well, for him to play. I think that was just important. So I think the timing felt right for season 3, and he went through the application process. He made a video and applied as everyone else would. I mean, I guess it probably was a formality, like if we're being completely honest, but you know, he put effort in, and he obviously was in the space that he felt like he wanted to play again and to go through the experience again, which is not an easy experience, as you could probably attest to. So yeah, I think the timing was right, and we'd had lots of conversations about it. And if it was something that he didn't want to do, you can't force that, because you need to want to do it, right? But, you know, I always wanted him to play, and it was important to me, and it was special to me. So I'm really glad that he did. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's always a risk. Like when you are such an impactful person and character and player on your first attempt, having another attempt, you know, it's likely only downhill, right? So there's a risk there. Can you capture lightning in a bottle a second time? And while he didn't ever really get in a position to sort of pull the moves that he pulled in Exile, he still remained that elite character in the confessional and fantastic storyteller, which is the thing that everyone also really loved about him at Exile. I think the other person that you found who absolutely delivered all season was the People's Champion. Did Eden deliver what you expected him to deliver? I think he was such a courageous player. He seems to speak about it like it's no biggie, just to like, whatever, it's a 2-day game, who cares? The fact is, hundreds of people are applying to be on these LRGs now. You probably only get one shot. So it's not just a 1 or 2 day thing and who cares? This is your one shot. You don't want to go home early. You don't want to go home pre-merge. And most people play conservatively as a result. He didn't play conservatively. He played boldly and brashly, and it was amazing. Did you enjoy that at the time? Did you feel that, man, this guy's really just going out with the way he's playing?
Yeah, I definitely felt that on the season. Like, I knew that he was going to be a great character to watch when I was editing it. And he's the kind of player that we always want people to be, that we want people to go out there and just have fun, because it's really the players that sort of don't do anything, you know, don't feel like they made any moves, and then they have a lot of regrets, and then they don't enjoy the experience as much watching it back too.
Yeah.
Whereas Eden just embraced the whole experience. He embraced the fact that it was just this fun weekend that, you know, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day if you win or lose, but if you have fun and you go balls to the wall, then you're going to have like the best experience ever, and you're going to have even more fun watching it back. Even though he didn't win, he, you know, is watching it back with the biggest smile on his face, I'm sure, because he did go balls to the wall and he was so entertaining and just so fun.
Do you want to say anything, Liv? Sorry.
No, I think that was said.
Wasn't
Yeah, said perfectly. I couldn't add anything else to that. I think I completely agree. And yeah, I loved watching Eden. And honestly, I didn't know like half the things that happened. Yeah, I loved, as I said to you before, I loved seeing all the actual wheelings and dealings that went on that I was unaware of on the actual day. And he's a real, you know, he's a bit of a master, and he knows, obviously, you know, he knows the game so well, and it was really fun to watch him maneuver his way out of, you know, some of those situations. And yeah, it was fun to watch, but it was also a bit of a masterclass in a way. You know, he was fantastic, and he's a good energy. And yeah, he's just a joy.
Yeah, he's been a great addition to the community post season 2. He's just like a joy to be around. He's been a joy to be on crew with as well. So yeah, very grateful for Eden joining the cast, but also the community as well as a whole, I think.
Yeah, the work he did on your wiki, and now the work he and his friend Jaden are doing on the general broader wiki is amazing. It's something, a resource that I really wish we had. I didn't have the time to do it myself. I help out where I can, but that sort of thing is just brilliant. He really he's a real fan of the community before he was even in the community. A lot of people join the community by playing and then discover it. He was fully across it all. He'd watched other seasons. He knew what he was getting in for. And is really excited to be abrasive of it. And like, you know, I as I said, I was very lucky. I'm happy to spend $1,000. I want the event to happen. I want the drinks to happen. So it's a concept, it's a bit, and I really, you know, that wheel could have spun anyone. It could have spun Jay, you know, like, and that would have been a real fizzle out of an event. So, and that may happen tonight when we spin the wheel again for Backyard. But for the first concept, it was so good. And I knew what it spun in. Like, anyone who was watching when we did the draft, I did a faux, like, oh, I'm so sad because I have to pay these drinks. But I was certain he was going a long way. He was going to definitely be a draft pick of mine. Speaking to him after the coverage last time, he said he didn't watch the coverage live, and he sort of saw the end and saw no one had picked him. And he was like, what are these bitches doing? None of them have picked me. This is outrageous. You can imagine how miffed he was about that. But then, like, he watched it and found out. Now, you mentioned how he did use the advantages to his advantage. Some of these advantages, I think you were trying interesting things, and I'm not sure if they really worked out the way you wanted them to. I guess the defector advantage, you know, you gave it as an additional benefit in that it could be used at merge. But were you hopeful that it would get played in a pre-merge situation, or how did you think that might want to unfold?
Well, I mean, because we did an early swap, I think there was hope that it would be a post-swap situation. So, you know, post-swap can be a bit of a begonging situation in a lot of LRGs because there isn't a lot of time. So I think the hope was that it would sort of help quell a bit of a begonging. I think we considered that it might just go to merge. We didn't actually think the quest was very hard. I think we thought it was a bit of a gimme, to be honest.
The what in the world?
The what in the world quest, yeah.
It was a gimme. It was clearly a gimme. Sab knows it was a gimme too. Sab.
Yeah.
I love you, Sab.
We've had a lot of fun with it, and she's very happy to laugh at herself too, which she has with the casting video that we did for season 5. So yeah, she's amazing. Yeah, so we thought that was a gimme, and because we did the swap sort of right after those quests, we thought it was just a bit of a way to maybe help someone that really got swap screwed, and could maybe get the numbers back in their advantage.
And the idols, no idol clue other than the word C, spelled S-E-A. You're supposed to figure out that was the globe, which, you know, a number of players did. And then they were supposed to know that it was a... Okay.
We didn't actually think they were going to figure that. We actually didn't think they were going to figure that out from the C. We thought that was too vague. So we actually had clues at camp that whole time.
No one found them?
No one found them until after Eden's got played, and I didn't bother showing it in the edit because they went back to camp and found it as a tribe, like Bethany Eden and Todd, Eden, Loz. They found it as a tribe, and they went, "Oh well, Eden's played that. What's the point?"
Yeah.
You know, there was no point showing in the edit. I showed Andrew finding his on the other tribe in the edit, but they were there the whole time. So yeah, we actually thought that was too vague of a clue for them to figure out that the globe was an idol, and maybe that's just underrating how smart some of the people in the cast were. Obviously, Bethany and Andrew figured it out pretty quickly. So yeah, we had the clues at camp the whole time, which said, you know, the globe on the flag is an idol. It can be played until the final 5. But it was just funny that they had figured it out before anyone had found the clue. So the clues sort of became a bit obsolete in that sense.
In terms of you say it was, you could play it to the final 5. So were these idols good to be played post-merge?
Sorry. No, they weren't. Sorry, my apologies. Just until the merge. Thank you.
Yeah. So was the C intended to be a clue to it? But
it was. We just thought it was too subtle. But it was definitely a clue for the tribe idol. But yeah, I mean, I guess as I said, maybe we just underestimated some of the intelligence of the people on the cast. I don't know.
Yeah, it would be interesting to know if we didn't have the C, this EA, if then people would be more likely to be searching to, you know, if you see an idol or you see something that might be an idol, you don't really take that unless there's something to tell you that it is.
Yes.
So anyway.
That's why people went for it. They saw it. It looks like something. Oh, the sea. There's the ocean on this. Where else is there going to be the ocean? To be honest, it probably worked out better that they didn't find the clue that explained how it worked, or it was a tribe idol, because otherwise none of them get played because they just get swapped away.
Yeah.
But the way Eden playing it and it not being an idol was actually like a more entertaining story. It's a better story.
Yes, true. I mean, I think there was talk of Eden possibly handing it off to Maddie on the other tribe.
Okay.
But maybe that was more the defector advantage. I might be getting mixed up with that. But that's sort of the other hope that, you know, if they did swap tribes and happen to have the opposite tribes idol, then maybe there would have been an interesting swap happen, like on, I think it was Australian Survivor Champions versus Contenders 2, where they had to exchange the idols.
And then
that was kind of.
That's where David gave Sean a dud, though.
Right, of course.
He took the real one and then gave Sean a dud. Exactly. Pauline's asking, and I'm not sure if I know what this is about. What about the bucket? Do you know what she means by that?
Yes, I don't really want to talk about that.
Okay, not on air. Pauline's calling you out.
It's just stupid. I mean, we had just referenced a bucket with supplies because we'd always put the tarp and like some sunscreen and a couple of things in a bucket, but we just happened to give them the things without a bucket, but the note just still referenced the bucket. So the tribe sort of got caught up on this bucket and where to find this bucket. And we're like, oh, sorry.
It's the bucket.
They drove themselves crazy looking for it. Hey, you're not the first time people to do that. When I played in Playing with Fire, we were supposed to find all our stuff around the camp, and then it turns out they hadn't actually spread stuff in the camp. So we were looking for hours of this stuff that just wasn't there.
Similar vibe.
Now, I felt that the advantage given at the auction, how about your auction being on the exact same week that the American Survivor auction was on? Like, I thought that was fun.
Oh, was it?
It was amazing.
That was
but Oscar's advantage, possibly too overpowered, we considered. He did really get to decide 2 people's boots from it. Then we also considered, would it have been better if he had time to do the splits? But then probably makes it more overpowered. Jules disagrees. Yeah, well, you're not on the show right now, Jules. So, do you, in retrospect, do you feel that went the way you would have wanted it to go, or do you think it maybe was too powerful? How do you feel about that advantage that you put in the game?
Look, I think like the results of an advantage, like the results weren't great. Obviously, they were the split tribals were a little bit predictable, and that sort of showed in the edit too.
Mm.
But yeah, I agree in the sense that like it was a pretty powerful advantage, but the fact that he had to decide it right away sort of did make it less powerful in my eyes.
I agree. I would have completely shut the bed if I had to like think of that so quick. Oh, that would be hard. I think he did really well.
But I think we saw that he if he had more time, he probably would have considered it more because he sort of he'd figured out what he wanted to do on his side of the fence, but he hadn't figured out what was going to happen on the other side of the fence, right? And Oscar talked about, oh, I think Andrew's going to go here, but I didn't actually want that to happen. And if I had more time to think about it, perhaps I would have changed it so I could have saved Andrew and gotten my alliance or the swapped Currawong tribe further as a group.
Yeah. The I think maybe the one thing you should have done is been more of an asshole, and when Oscar locked down his first group of names, that's it. Like he's like, oh, can I swap this? You didn't like, no, you said the names. The idea was what came out of your head is what came out, and we're going with that.
Yeah. My default is to be a little bit more lenient, and maybe I should change that up. What do you reckon, Liv? We should just be more mean in the future.
We can try.
Try. Very difficult. The challenges I thought were excellent this season. I wouldn't say challenges have ever been bad with Canberra, but I wouldn't say equally they've been they've been suitable. I feel like on this season you really stepped it up. I really loved the challenges at the Swamp of Sadness. I think they were a great mix of strategy, skill, and puzzling. Balance, standard Survivor stuff. I thought generally all of the challenges were really positive. I liked the geography quiz, but maybe that's because I'm good at geography. Was there an effort to up the challenge quality in this season?
I was so glad I was reading the geography quiz and not having to do it. Holy shit. It's probably one of those things as well where you learn as you go, right? Like as we've done each season, we've known kind of what's worked, what people try to get away with, how do you combat that? And then also, just having more resources and more people involved, helps make it, bigger and better and, have better challenges every year.
Yeah, I think like the more seasons that we're having, the more resources that we're getting out of the alumni and the crew that's coming on board. Like I do not have any skills in making challenges, and most of the challenges in season 1 and season 2 were by me, or and it showed that I didn't have any skills in that area. So we definitely did have some more skills from Malcolm, who jumped on board to do a few of the challenges. I still did a few, and then Carleen and Simon did a couple as well. So the seasons sort of, as we get further, they're moving away from me making the challenges and moving more towards people with those skills. So that you'll see them get even better and better into season 4 and season 5, hopefully. The less that I do, the better they'll become. I'm sure.
You just focus on the game and the hosting, and that the people that are handy do the handy stuff. I'm not a handy person either. They're impressive.
I just focus on holding the urn. That's my main job. I practiced that for months.
You're also there for don't count yourself down, Liv. You're there for the incredible color commentary in the challenges. I stand by that you two have the best sort of banter dynamic of any of the. I know there's only another 2 guys that do it together, but I think you guys have a really great banter dynamic in the challenges and probably do the best challenge commentary together. They're not the easiest thing to commentate on sometimes, but it's just like, okay, so we're 30 minutes into this puzzle and no one's figured it out.
It's incredibly awkward. And I felt so bad for Bethany in the last challenge. We were standing right near her and we weren't moving. And I just felt like we kept commenting on the balance beam because we weren't really looking at anything else.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, poor Bethany.
Getting further and further each time.
That wasn't the last time. That was hilarious. The last was, of course, the epic holding in the hail.
Yes, sorry, not
how epically unbelievable. It just seemed to hail for that one challenge. You two just stood there in the hail while they did the challenge. Bethany was just like an absolute statue. That was fantastic. You couldn't ask for a more epic ending than that.
Definitely not. And you could feel it when we were there too, right, Liv? Like it's starting to hail, and these players are you pulling their all in to win the final immunity, and you're standing there going, "This is going to look cool on film, isn't it? Like this is going to be great." It was great to edit too. It was awesome to edit. Got to be really creative with that edit, with the music, and so yeah, that was really fun. I mean, maybe not standing there in the hail. That probably wasn't fun for us at the time, but
It didn't last that long though.
It just lasted.
It was
No,
like perfect timing.
Yeah, it was perfect timing. Like contrary to season 1 and season 2, where it just bucketed down the whole time, this was just great timing for some rain and some hail for sure.
I want to we're going to get to the next part of the show, but thank you so much for coming on, Dan and Liv. Thank you for making another incredible season. Obviously, Canberra has been a huge part of the community for a number of years. This was such enjoyable watching for myself, and I think everyone in the community. I've watched a lot of these seasons really recently, so it was so good to have something fresh and something that was so good. And I want to thank you both for your support of our show. I know you have your own show, and that's fine. There's no problems with that. But then you also show the support for us, which we really appreciate.
Yeah, and thank you for podcasting on the season. As always, you do a great job, and I know the feedback from the players on your podcast was really, really great. They really enjoyed your takes and how honest and refreshing that was for them too. So yeah, did a great job. And thanks for coming to Canberra and dropping $1,000 on the Canberra community. So
I can't wait. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to meet. I hope Andrew comes. I really want to meet Andrew in person. Yeah. I would love to meet you in person, Liv. We've got to find a date that Eden can make it. I'm tic-tacking with Eden on dates because we can't do it without Eden there. But we'll find a date, maybe February, maybe March, and we'll put on a show and it'll be amazing.
That'll be great. That'll be awesome. Looking forward to it. So.
Thank you again for all your efforts and congratulations on another amazing season.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
Stick around behind the scenes as we now turn to the most important moment in the entire coverage of Canberra Survivor. We will determine who is the orca of the season. Now, I've got to bring in my co-host as always. As we get into the coverage, we'll be having a spirited debate as to who should be winning this award. The awards are done. We've got the votes are tallied. We know who has won, but we'll be debating all of the people, the candidates that received votes from the Congress of the Orcas, which I will explain in a moment. But without further ado, I'll welcome my lovely co-host, Jules. Welcome.
Hello.
And Danny, welcome. Sorry, I got you on. Did you mean to be lip glossing when I brought you in?
Of course I did.
Yeah, very nice. It's like the real life version of the nails emoji.
Yeah,
I get it. All right, so I have a little PowerPoint to be bringing up with us. This event. Here we go. The Congress of the Orcas. So, moving forward for new seasons, the orca of the season will be voted on by an assortment of people. And these people are the people on this podcast, myself, Danny.
Oh, God.
Annabelle. And Jules, sorry, your season hasn't aired yet, so I don't have your starting credits, but I pulled something off the pod for you. And then, to the extent that they've watched the season, all of the persons that have been determined as orcas of their respective seasons are entitled to vote. So that would include Kevin from Melbourne 1, Calvin from Melbourne 2, Matt from Backyard 1, Jess from Backyard 2, Andrew, yes, he can vote for himself. His votes are eligible. Well, of course, absolutely he can. He's an orca. Andrew from Backyard 3, Ethan from Sydney, Dom from Canberra 1, and Tyler from Brisbane. We are yet, of course, to cover Melbourne 3, Canberra 2, and Backyard 4 in our rank down. We will eventually get to it. Those people will be added to the Congress of the Orcas. Now, admittedly, I only came up with this concept 5 days ago, and most of these people didn't watch the season because, they weren't on it. And orcas really only watch things that themselves are on. So I reached out to them, and many of them hadn't voted, but hadn't watched. But those that had watched have submitted a vote. That comprises, unsurprisingly, Andrew, who was there and therefore has watched the season, and Dom, who was also there crewing and thus has watched the season. So this is the Congress of Orcas that has voted for the orca of this season. We all vote 3, 2, 1. Tally the votes. The winner's the winner. But of those people, the following castmates received at least 1 vote. Andrew, going for a second time, could become the first time, 2-time Orca. Lauren, Oscar, Pauline, Eden, and John. So, in the spirit of the Orca debate, Danny, Jules, and I will now individually tell you why 2 of these people each, based on our particular votes, should be the Orca of the season, and then we will reveal the outcome. Andrew, I believe this was yours, Jules?
Yes. I think the Possum Magic confessional alone is enough for Andrew to be an Orca. He talked absolute shit that made 0 sense strategically, but he knew that that would get him content. Is that not the most Orca thing you've ever seen in your life? I think so. Just his confessionals in general, his constantly being on the bottom but trying to get in there and it's not really working. It's just, he ticks all the Orca boxes for me.
I want to read out his votes. I will read out Dom's and Andrew's reasons for who they voted for. Andrew did give himself some votes.
Good.
As you'd expect.
That's
but
the most Orca thing.
he only gave himself 1 vote. And look, how can I not read his stuff? It would surely be remiss of a former rebel quasi-dictatorial strongman to not endorse himself, as did Robert Mugabe, Vladimir Putin, and Hung Seng. Not all win elections with over 80% vote share. However, point allocation is tempered by the fact of limited game lifespan meant deployment of Orca behavior not done to the greatest extent possible.
Limited game lifespan means nothing.
Now,
of the Congress of Orcas, how many of them were pre-merge?
Not most of them. Matt's probably.
Well, I'm more thinking about like for Melbourne 3, Annabelle is going to be up there, and she was in what, 4 episodes?
Yeah, but she didn't like threaten someone against a wall. Isn't that like a strong army? Just self-promotion. Okay, on to that's Andrew. Look, I agree. Andrew's amazing. He's already won this award. Of course, he's amazing. We now go to the next person. Lauren, I believe, Danny, you were making the case for Lauren.
I mean, I don't think I need to make a case. You have to excuse me. I'm losing my voice. I'm doing the very best I can. I mean, from the very first time we see Loz in her intro video, she references playing like Pavati. And if she's not Orca energy, I don't know who is. Right? She had a target on herself from the very first episode. Her confessionals were just top tier. At one point, she's like, I can beat everybody here. This is too easy for me. Well, I made notes. And her strong arm strategy, she strong armed more people than anybody. Like from dismissing everybody about Eden, having no interest in that particular case, to then flipping back on John because she didn't want her alliance to bromance up. Like, there is no one that beats Lauren for Orca. I'm sorry. Like, I think we all know she wins because she's just the Orca of this season. She shows all the 3 criteria that we need.
Do you know I didn't even give her a vote?
What the fuck?
Because I think there is no intersection in Orca and player ability. Those are mutually exclusive things. And everything that you attested to her being an Orca is just her being a good player. Like you said, she's talking confession about how she can beat everyone. That's fact. That's not.
But that's also propensity for narcissism.
That's not narcissistic, though. It's accurate.
It is, though. Like, I'm better than fucking everybody else here.
Because she was.
She was an Orca and a brilliant player.
Okay.
It's a unique Orca that is a brilliant player, but I would like to point out that being a narcissist doesn't mean that what you doesn't believe is not true. You can think you're the most gorgeous person in the world, and you might be the most gorgeous person in the world. You're still narcissistic. Like,
I suppose I'm more thinking as like delusions of grandeur, which she definitely didn't have.
No, she's had the grandeur.
Just grandeur.
Next is Pauline. Pauline might be a surprise packet to have achieved a vote in this countdown because she's a quiet soul. She's not arrogant in any way. She's not strong-arming people. I think what got her there was the croissant business, just constantly carrying around that croissant to many people's annoyance. They're like, what is this? Why is she carrying it around? this is annoying, and she knew it was annoying people too. And that sort of behavior, just pissing people off as you roll into the end game, is got to be appreciated. Particularly, Dom appreciated Pauline's croissant, and he simply said, "For which I award Pauline 1 point for the excellent in the art of the croissant." So that was Pauline. I don't think we realistically think she'll get there because she's too nice of a person. But, you know, she should be proud to be nominated. Only 6 people were. We're now discussing Oscar. Who drew Oscar in the debate?
Me, I drew Oscar. I think his attempts to strong arm strategy, even though it most of the time didn't work, you know, he had big move-itis. He just wanted to make a big move and just wanted to make it happen. And that people dismissed him because of that. I think also the fact that he believed wholeheartedly walking into that final tribal council that it was his to win and nobody else's, that's very, very Orca and goes back into my assessment of it being delusions of grandeur as opposed to just straight up narcissism. But yes, that's why I voted for Oscar.
Eden, I believe, Danny, you're making the case for Eden.
Eden, the people's champion. I mean, another hot target from the outset. He also, like, I love that he, from the get-go, only wanted to work with the girls and the gays. He had no interest in the straight men. I love that from him. He strong-armed his strategy mostly through his advantage play and using that to his advantage and moving the target off him at every turn.
And the final candidate is John. I think John is perhaps one of the most unintentional orcas we're going to see in future seasons. I think we're going to get players that come on to LRGs now. Like people are playing 47 to try and get on season 50. There's going to be people that come on to LRGs now just thinking about this Orca award. Like, they don't really care if they go pre-merge or whatever. It's like, but I might win the Orca award. So we're going to get a lot of people trying to win the award. And we're going to have to perhaps filter that out a little bit. But I think John is going to be one of the most unintended Orcas we still see. His behavior, you know, as I said in his cast video, he gave off the grandpa vibes. I don't know if he really liked that or not because he threw it back at me a lot. But he was stubborn, but he was honest to a T, perhaps too honest. Just told people he was going to vote them out. Told people he was going to, you know, happily, I don't like them. I'm flipping on those people. I'm with you. Just absolutely just strong-arming his way through the game with pure honesty, but not like an honest game, like, oh, I'm an ethically honest player and that's how I play Survivor. No, it was just can't even be bothered lying to you people about what I'm up to. I'm just going to, like, push my way through here and get the outcomes I'm looking for. I'm just going to grab this idol. I'm going to play it, you know, blah, blah. Aiden be damned. I'll vote for him. Who cares? He was like my best friend from day one. Let's just vote him out at the merge so I don't go. And you know what? Didn't lose a wink of sleep about it. I don't think Aiden slept all night. If you recall, he was tossing and turning about what was going to happen at the merge. John probably slept like a baby with his heart's content on seeing Aiden. No worries at all. Okay. Well, with that resolved, we will now go to the tallying of the votes. So, I can remember that Eden received 4 votes. Oscar received 4 votes. Pauline received 1 vote, which is good because she's nice. No offense to anyone that is orcas like us. Andrew received 4 votes.
Wow.
So I can tell you it is between Loz and John. They are first and second. Ed and Oscar and Andrew were equal third. So, without further ado,
the 3 I voted for were equal third.
You've had your orca privileges revoked, Jules.
Look, Danny's argument has convinced me.
As it always does.
The newest member of the Congress of Orcas, coming from Canberra Survivor 3 versus the world, is Loz. 15 out of a possible 18 votes.
Wow.
She received the 3 votes from every person on the Congress except for Jules. And now here she is to berate Jules about her poor decision. Welcome, Loz.
Welcome, newest orca.
You're muted.
You're muted. We want to hear your voice.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm actually not sorry.
How excited are you to have won this exclusive award?
I mean, there have been many achievements in my lifetime. Saving lives and traveling the world and being an athlete. But honestly, this is literally pinnacle. Nothing will top this. This is the highest of all the highs. So
we love
thank you.
that for you. We love that for you. Well done.
You should be so proud. I think you are likely, with Andrew, probably the best orca to actually play a good game as well at the same time. As Jules says, that sometimes is a mutually exclusive consequence.
They're not the same thing.
But Andrew did it, and you've managed to do it as well. Jess played a good game too, actually. Jules, I don't agree with this sentiment at all. Loz, welcome to the club. Welcome to the Congress of Orcas. You'll be forever enshrined. You'll now be able to vote on future orcas to join the Congress. I'm so happy it's you. I voted for you. Obviously, we all voted for you. We thought you were amazing.
I mean, it's kind of like a backhanded compliment, I think, in a little bit.
We don't see it that way. We don't see it that way.
No,
It is an honor. It is an honor.
We think it's awesome.
But, look, the world needs narcissists, I suppose. We keep things moving. So if that's the, the crown that I have to wear, well, I guess I'll wear it.
And we're very pleased to have you joining the Congress. I will send you your official invitation later on. It's quite wordy and fun. I did it to do something that I could impress Andrew the best, and hopefully it impressed him. So the rest of them were super impressed, I think, because they're like, wow, look at this. But I try to be as wordy as possible in the official invitation. I might even start a group chat soon.
Yeah, fair. Look, that's brave. I don't know that I would attempt to take on Andrew in his nonsense wordiness, but all power to you, CK.
Well, that's part of being an orca. That guy may be the most eloquent person I've ever met. So I'm just going to try to be more eloquent when I speak to him. But there's a lot it reeks of effort when I do it. It just reeks of effort. Whereas for him,
it's just orca energy, like this from Sam. It's like such orca thinking, suggesting that someone's placeholder to win your award.
Of course they would.
It's kind of like how when people, they don't play to win, they play to be asked back a second time. It's in that vein.
It is. Not only one person wins the game. And frankly, if you're an orca-style personality, you're very unlikely to win the game. So, this is what you can win instead. This privilege.
Oh, yeah. As I said, I was never going to win. I mean, not even I was convinced that I had any chance of winning. So, I was lucky to make it to where I did, let alone, actually win some games along the way.
More than luck.
This is also not just a digital honor. I have orca medallions on the way, which I will then have engraved for the specific winners that I can then hopefully award in person. Obviously, if there's any orcas, former winners, at the Eden People's Champion drinks, I will be bestowing them with their medal when they appear there, Andrew or Dom, and maybe hopefully you, Loz, depending on when it is. But the medals are coming. It's going to be very,
you're doing all this to ingratiate yourself for when you meet Andrew. This is just the pedal to kneel before Andrew with all your wordiness.
Sure.
He doesn't deny it.
The way CK is going to react to meeting Andrew, that would be like if I met Hayley Leake. Like, it'd be on that same level.
I'm going to film it.
We should live stream the whole event when it occurs. Thank you, Loz, for jumping in on such late notice. I hope it didn't give away too much you were winning the award, but it probably did when you got backstage and saw no one else was there. But I didn't feel the need to bring in the others and just when they lost. I didn't know how John would react to that, to be perfectly honest. So I didn't feel the need. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here to receive your award. And thank you for being such a fantastic addition to the season. And also, the male or female orcas are starting to balance out a bit after we had a lot of men initially, which is very good to see. Third female orca out of the 9 that we've done.
That's a good place to be.
And the more female orcas bring in more female orcas, so you're only going to get to see them play more and more. It's going to be so good.
It's always the goal. So it's all about the girls.
Girls and the gays.
Shall we bring Dan in? Maybe Dan will want to congratulate Loz on her victory.
I was not expecting to come back in, but
I thought you may want to dance at the end, Dan, so I thought I'd bring you back.
thanks. Well, I think well deserved. I think my 3 points would have gone to Loz as well. She knows what I think about her as a player and as a personality, so nothing needs to be said there. But well deserved, Loz. Congratulations.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone, for joining us live. Thank you, Loz. Now, don't go anywhere. Do go somewhere. Go to the other link, because in 7 minutes' time, we are saying farewell, a sad farewell to our coverage of Canberra versus the World, and a happy hello to our coverage of Backyard Season 5 live draft. Jules, Danny, and I won't be changed. So these Backyard people that weren't watching this are going to get the shock of their lives when we come in dressed up for the gala draft. This Backyard 5.
You know how rare it is that I put on a dress? Like, this is a big deal.
I'm not even going to explain why we're wearing this. I'm just going to be wearing, like, this should be expected for the draft. So tune in. There'll be another link somewhere. You'll find it. It's on Facebook and wherever on the Orca Pod page. We'll be starting in about 5 to 7 minutes live, streaming into Perth, the Backyard Draft. I hope to see all of you in the comments there. And, please go like our Orca page on Facebook. I'm trying to get up to 100. So go like it. If you like us, like it. I will now play the song, and everyone may dance.